Broly is finally at a new level of power, and I'm gonna show it to you now. The red sun of Beerus Planet illuminates the field where Broly trains alone. His body moves with precision as he channels Super Saiyan 1 with ease. There is no longer any lack of control. His blows cut through the air with force, creating shockwaves that spread across the rocky surface. Each movement shows the mastery he has gained over himself. He is no longer the warrior driven by instinct. Now he is pure discipline. Goku watches from a distance with his arms crossed. He knows that Broly is about to achieve something greater. Whis watches silently, attentive to the energy patterns that form around the Saiyan. Vegeta, sitting on a floating rock, nods. He feels that Broly's ki is changing. It does not grow chaotically, but rather refines, as if passing through an invisible filter. Broly takes a deep breath. His body relaxes for a moment and his golden aura begins to disappear. In its place, a deep red glow appears, calm, almost sacred. His ki warms from the inside out. He is not furious. He is focused. A gentle but intense energy envelops his body. The clouds above him disperse and the air around him seems to vibrate harmoniously. His hair begins to transform. The strands fall, losing their golden hue and turning red like living flames. His eyes take on a serene scarlet glow. His skin remains intact, but everything about him exudes a divine presence. Broly reaches Super Saiyan God. No explosions accompany this change. There is no scream, no destruction, only silence and absolute power. Whis smiles. He recognizes the transition. Broly did not need a ritual or 5 Saiyan around him. He got there alone, guided by the emotional control he had developed in recent months. Goku smiles too. He understands that Broly found his own path to this power without copying anyone. Vegeta watches in silence, impressed. Broly is now on the same level as the gods, but with a unique energy that pulses with balance. Broly remains motionless for a few seconds. His body emanates heat, but the heat does not burn. He closes his eyes, feeling the energy flowing freely. The power is intense, but it is not a threat. It is familiar. It is as if it has always been inside him, waiting for the right moment to reveal itself. Super Saiyan God is unlike anything he has ever felt. There is no ferocity, there is clarity. He reopens his eyes and begins to move. His blows are now light, almost silent, but each one carries an incomparable weight. The rocks around him shatter without him even touching them. He moves as if he were dancing, and each step makes the entire planet vibrate slightly. Whis follows with shining eyes. He knew Broly had this potential, but seeing it happen is something completely different. Goku approaches and studies Broly's new form. He feels that this transformation is not just physical. Broly has changed on the inside. He has gone from being an instrument of destruction to becoming a true warrior, someone who chooses to fight not out of impulse, but out of a desire to grow. Goku's influence is there, but the credit goes entirely to Broly. The training continues. Broly alternates between rapid attacks and moments of moving meditation. His mastery of Super Saiyan God grows with each passing minute. He is still discovering the limits of this new form, but the most impressive thing is that he remains calm. There is no fear of losing control. He knows that he is now the master of his own power. The sky changes color as Broly intensifies his movements. The red aura pulses, following the rhythm of his blows, as if the universe around him were dancing along with him. Chile and Lemo, who are watching from afar, observe in admiration. They know how much Broly fought to get there. He is no longer the warrior who fears himself. He is a protector, someone who carries a new fire within his chest. At the end of the training session, Broly lands softly on the ground. His ki diminishes, but the transformation remains active. He takes a deep breath, and the planet responds with absolute silence. Peace settles over the environment. Broly smiles slightly. For the first time, he does not feel overwhelmed by his own strength. He feels complete. Super Saiyan God is not the end of the journey. It is a new beginning. Broly knows this. And with this awakening, he opens the door to even greater possibilities. His power is only beginning to reveal itself. At the current stage of Dragon Ball Super, Broly represents one of the greatest emotional and psychological developments in the entire franchise. Originally presented as an uncontrollable warrior whose fury made him a threat even to the gods, he now demonstrates much more complex personality traits. Since being taken by Goku to live on Beerus Planet after the events of the film Dragon Ball Super Broly, Broly has undergone an internal transformation that has distanced him from destructive savagery and brought him closer to a path of self-knowledge, maturity, and surprisingly, companionship. Initially, Broly was a man shaped by a hostile environment. He grew up isolated alongside his father, Beerus, who raised him as a weapon and prevented him from connecting with the world in a healthy way. His only real emotional contact came from Ba, the beast that accompanied him as a child, and this shows how Broly has a much deeper sensitivity than many imagine. Despite his intimidating appearance and monstrous powers, Broly was never cruel by nature. His brutality was merely a reflection of unresolved trauma and an overwhelming energy that he never had the opportunity to understand, much less control. With the death of Beerus and his first defeat by Goku and Vegeta in his legendary Super Saiyan form, Broly could have been cast aside, exiled as a potential threat, but Goku, with his typical intuition and empathy, saw something more in Broly. It was Goku who took the initiative to bring food, capsules, and aid, ensuring that Broly and his new friends, Chilai and Limo, could live in peace on planet Vampa. And later, it was he who brought Broly with him to Beerus' planet, recognizing that the Savage Saiyan could, in time, be an ally and perhaps even a friend. Today, Broly lives a new reality. In a calmer and more structured environment, he began to train in a controlled manner, constantly supervised by Goku and even by Whis on some occasions. The most visible result of this new chapter in his life is that Broly has now managed to control the Super Saiyan 1 form. That transformation that was previously accompanied by outbursts of rage and destruction is now activated with awareness, clarity, and focus. This in itself represents a gigantic leap in relation to the Broly of before and shows that his evolution is only just beginning. The most fascinating thing, however, is to realize that Broly has not only learned to control himself, but he has also begun to enjoy fighting, something that seemed impossible in the past. Goku, with his captivating manner and his unconditional love for fair combat, ended up influencing Broly. At first, the Saiyan was still afraid of losing control, but as his training sessions became more constant and more friendly, Broly began to smile. For the first time, he saw struggle not as a trigger for pain, but as an opportunity for growth, as a connection to those around him. This new taste for combat is not driven by arrogance or a desire for domination, as we see in other warriors. In Broly's case, fighting has become a way of discovering himself, of expressing what he feels without having to hurt anyone. He is excited by the idea of becoming stronger, not out of vanity, but because it represents self-control, something he has never had before. He begins to understand what Goku has always seen in battles: the beauty of overcoming, the exchange between rivals, the drive that leads someone to achieve the impossible. It is also possible to notice that Broly still maintains a certain purity. He is extremely polite, respectful, and introverted, much more observant than talkative. When he addresses others, it is with humility. There is no ego in his words, only gratitude. His relationship with Chilai and Limo continues to be essential to keeping him emotionally balanced. They act as an anchor point, reminding Broly of who he is and where he came from, and it is with this solid foundation that he walks towards something even greater. The outlook for Broly is extremely promising. Now that he has mastered Super Saiyan 1, it is only a matter of time before he can activate and control Super Saiyan 2, and perhaps even Super Saiyan 3, or a new level of transformation all his own. The fact that he already has an innate legendary form, unlike any other Saiyan, indicates that there is a unique path in store for him. Broly has a raw power that not even Goku or Vegeta fully understand, and the emotional control he has been developing could be the key to unlocking unprecedented transformations. Some believe that Broly could even awaken something equivalent to Super Saiyan 4, a form that, although not canon in Super, would fit perfectly with the bestial and primal aesthetic of his energy. His ki still carries a more savage vibration, more connected to the pure instinct of the Saiyan race. And if he can channel this in balance with his new emotional maturity, the universe could witness the birth of a new type of warrior. Furthermore, there is great anticipation about the role that Broly will play in the upcoming battles. With the emergence of Frieza Black and increasingly cosmic threats, it is inevitable that he will be called to the battlefield alongside Goku, Vegeta, and Gohan. His strength is now at the service of protection, not destruction. He still fights ferociously, but his heart beats in tune with the values of his companions. And this is what makes him not just a weapon, but a true hero in the making. Broly represents the most interesting thing about a Dragon Ball character: the contrast between chaos and order, between power and conscience. He shows that even the most unstable of warriors can find peace and purpose when surrounded by the right people. Goku was the trigger for this change. Chile and Lemo are the support, and Broly himself is the architect of his redemption. Today's Broly is no longer a monster. He is a man, a warrior, who has finally understood that fighting is not about losing control. It is about taking control. And now that he has understood this, the sky is no longer the limit for him. It is just the beginning. Over time, it becomes clear that the next barrier that Broly is about to break is not linked to fury or instinct, but to a deep understanding of Ki itself. His advancement in controlling Super Saiyan 1 already shows this. Unlike in the past, where his evolution was marked by explosions of uncontrollable power, he now shapes energy with focus and stability. By being surrounded by warriors like Goku and Vegeta, and under the guidance of Whis, Broly begins to understand that there are superior forms that require not only strength but also inner balance, and it is precisely by following this new path that he naturally approaches the state of Super Saiyan God. This transformation, unlike all others, does not require anger but a calm mind and a firm heart. Broly begins to feel this call within himself, as if his own body were responding to an ancestral energy that has always been there, dormant. His Ki, previously raw and chaotic, now begins to refine and heat up like a living flame. Everything indicates that the next step in his evolution will be precisely the awakening of Super Saiyan God, a form that, ironically, matches his new nature more than any transformation he has ever had. Instead of losing control, Broly will finally be able to release all his power with awareness, balance, and absolute focus. But comment on what you thought of all this, and don't forget to like. Thank you very much for all your support, and see you next time.